money radio for a really great future. We're talking real money.
Are those two old guys still doing that podcast thing? Yeah, I think so. Is that them? Oh, yeah, this is them. There he is. There's that Tom guy and that Don guy still talking real money. Hi, everybody. Welcome to Talking Real Money. I'm that Don guy. He's that Tom guy. We're so glad you're those guys and gals who listen to us on a almost daily basis. Thank you for continuing to actually listen. A lot of you do. We're still trying to figure out why, but thank you for doing it. Today, we are gathered here to discuss some of the bigger and smaller financial issues of the day and everything in between. We're also here to try to answer your questions. So we do a little bit of everything when it comes to money, real money, fake money, any kind of money. You want to talk about it? We're going to listen. Just go to talkingrealmoney.com, ask us questions. I'm Don McDonald. Over there, not really there, 3,000 miles away, but I see him magically somehow, is Thomas Charles Koch II, the Deuce. We're just going to call him the Deuce from now on.
Oh, God.
Hey,
no.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's the Deuce on the Talking Real Money podcast.
You can take that so many ways, too. No way. That's not happening. It's just not happening.
I'm sorry. It's really early when we record this. Yeah. All right, today, retirement. Yes, we talk about retirement a lot, primarily because hopefully all of you or most of you are going to get there, or you're there already. And one of the things that we are concerned about when it comes to retirement is, what are we going to do with the rest of the time? I don't know too many people who truly just want to do nothing for 15 or 20 years. Just sit in a recliner and watch old streaming reruns on the television. I mean, how many of you want to do that? You want to do something. So what are you going to do with your life? Well, the folks at Kiplinger magazine threw together a list. In many ways, they threw it together because I don't know that it's really well thought out, but we're going to talk about some of the things they put on their list of the top 10 side gigs for retirees in 2026? Aren't these like maybe the 2020? 2019?
Yeah, I think you got to go back maybe further. Some of these are, well, okay, let's just go through the list. You decide. You, the listener, decide.
Yeah, not me, the
how
Don.
Feasible these are. Yeah. Because they're number one, frankly, is a very limited number of people that can do this. And I used to work with a guy that did this for me for many years. In fact, he passed away last fall. Very sharp individual. He had been in a number of businesses, so he got business. He got me, I think. And what we're talking about
by the way,
that was professional coaching.
That made him right there. That put him in very rare company. The fact that he actually got Tom.
Yeah, exactly. Business and professional coaching. And they say you can leverage decades of leadership experience and mentor or coach current C-suite types and wannabes and how to climb the corporate ladder like a master. This, again, when I read this, there's not very many people that can do this well. It takes a very specific set. I can think of a couple. I can think of one that's coming up really soon. There's a guy who's about to retire who would probably make a great mentor coach, but I don't think any of us could afford him. That would be like Bob Iger. Bob Iger would be terrific, and maybe Bob takes one or two clients on. I don't know. Maybe he
when
does.
When they say coaching C-suite people, it's like I'm thinking you have to be a super C-suite for somebody to want to seek you out to coach them on being a lesser company C-suite person, don't you?
Yeah. Absolutely. Right. And Bob, of course, has a modicum of experience. I couldn't believe how quickly they're pulling him. I mean, like next month, he's got gone the end of March or something. I read him. He's still going to be the chair, but
Josh is. I think Josh was a good choice. He's sort of an Orlando guy now because of the parks.
Yeah. There's very few people that can do that. Do I think it would be, rewarding in some ways? Yeah. But in other ways, maybe frustrating. We could. I don't want to belabor it because that's, I think, pretty limited. Number two, perhaps more limited, data management and information technology consulting. Now, this is one where I can't get hired. I can be pretty sure of that.
Yeah, and in people
You maybe.
There aren't a lot. There's a very, very, very small group of older Americans who are massively tech savvy, which is what you'd have to be to consult, to
You'd
work
be
in
that.
this area. Well, but the problem is, and they mention it in the article, but they sort of, they mention that if you can coach on artificial intelligence, if you can coach on how to use it to make people more productive, but that's a very specialized area. And the other problem is when it comes to this kind of thing, AI actually teaches it really well. AI probably teaches it better than 99.99999% of humans. So,
And who are your clients here? Is this small companies that you're trying to help that really don't have the resources to hire somebody in? Or want to do it more inexpensively?
They're saying $85 to $150 an hour, but I'm pretty sure there are a lot of young people who are really savvy. In fact, I know one really well. We call her our daughter, who can't seem to get a job doing exactly this. And she's probably 30 years younger, 40 years younger than some of you retirees looking for this gig.
And she's pretty well
so
qualified,
far,
and she's pretty up to date on
So far,
recent
we're pretty
things,
depressing.
so.
These jobs aren't working. How about number 3, professional consulting? Isn't that number 1?
Yeah. It kind of is number 1. But the other thing about consulting, and you and I did a bit of this way back when, and we didn't love it because we told people, they hired us, they paid us, here's what you got to do, and then they did some of it, and then they didn't do the rest of it, and things didn't work. We're like, well, because you got to do 1 through 10. You don't get to just pick 5, 6, 7.
And that has a lot to do with the egos of the people for whom you work. We know that from experience with our little consulting business, is that the egos are, it's like, I hired you guys to tell me what to do, but I think my ideas are better than yours.
Yep. I know better about all this. So, again, that's a very limited area. Maybe you work in a specialized type of employment where you could take and plug that into something after. I just think it's very few
I love
people.
number 4, content publishing.
You would be, this is you. This is Don McDonald's future, right? Writing, reading, recording. You're doing that already.
But not since I've discovered, particularly for the kind of stuff they're talking about. They're talking about copywriting, SEO-themed article writing. I'm telling you, we don't realize how powerful AI is yet. I use AI all of the time. I am a regular artificial intelligence user, and I'm telling you, it's good at content. AI is really, really good at content.
Yeah,
it is
I
so
concur.
good at content. I have done some tests and run some AI content and then my own personal content through AI content checkers. And sometimes AI looks more human than my writing, which scares me a little.
That's kind of scary, no?
Am I real? You don't even know if I'm real right now. This could be just me with typing into AI.
Let's not go there. What do you say? All right, number 5, bookkeeping, financial back office service specialists.
Not yet
So
replaced
is that like a
with
small
AI.
business hiring somebody to balance the books and do the payroll?
Yes, I
and
can
that
see
stuff?
that for small business. This one I can see for small businesses because
Absolutely.
most entrepreneurs really hate the accounting side of the business.
Yeah, they did. That's not why they
Right.
got in the business. They got in the business because they loved XYZ. The payroll and all the rest of the stuff is something you have to do, but who wants to
So
get
if you're a
excited about
number
doing
cruncher, you're somebody who really
Yeah.
likes the accounting side of the business.
that? And those people
But it
are out
doesn't
there.
pay much because, again, you're dealing
No,
with small
it's
businesses.
pretty light.
They're going to be in the $20 to $40 an hour range. But
Yeah.
if you look,
But some of this, by the way, not about the money. It's about the engagement. So there could be that as well. All right, but here's one I know you're going to love because this is huge. Big, big, big money for you retirees out there. Online selling specialists. I'm kidding.
Isn't that Amazon?
Now, my wife does some of this stuff on she's always saying, I'm going to sell that because I say, just throw it away. She does some of it. I'll give her credit. There's a few things here or there. It's not that much money,
Have you ever done a
frankly, for the
cost-benefit
work.
analysis?
No, because it would be shocking. So, but they're talking about, Etsy, eBay, resellers, blah, blah, blah. And we've seen this stuff out there, but I don't put much faith in this as a business. And it
sounds a lot like, remember the podcasts years ago that were all the top 10 financial podcasts were about selling on eBay?
How easy it is to make a huge living.
Wait, it's really hard.
Yeah.
I have run an online business where I sold a lot of stuff online. It died. In 2009, it died. And I don't think I could make a go of it again. I think I would work a lot harder than I'm working now for a whole lot less money. But what do I know?
Do you still have the maps?
God, yes. Anybody want to buy an antique
maybe we could
map?
roll the
Let me know.
Well, no, maybe we could roll the maps into the pizza thing.
I don't know, but
I don't know. There's something there.
I don't know. I probably have 4,000 19th century maps. If anybody wants to buy a bunch, I'll make you a great deal if you want to get into the antique map business.
It's easy. It's easy to go online and make rich,
Kiplinger.
big money. Yeah. Number 7. Actually, I kind of like this one because I've seen it done, and I know people have done it, and they've done it well. Teaching and tutoring specialists. There's a lot of kids now that have tutors. So if you have a topic that you're good at, math, whatever it is, there's a lot of people who will hire you to help their children, et cetera, to get through things.
I think this is one of the better ones.
Gig.
But again, it's one of the lower paying ones.
Yeah, it's not going to make you rich.
You're just going to get above babysitting money.
That's about right. Yeah. And here's the one that 100% I could never do, or I'd be fired the first 5 minutes. The home repair master.
But if you are one of those handy home repair Mr. Fix-It or Mrs. Fix-It people, you tend to be really good at fixing a light switch or repairing a pipe or spackling a wall. I'm telling you, I will hire you. I need you.
Yeah, I've done it.
If you are an older person and you're good at this stuff, go on your local community website and say, I do this. I mean, really, a lot of communities have a Facebook page, or your community has a website or some sort of a newspaper. Put a little ad in and say, I want to do this. I mean, we pay, when we get a good handyman, we're probably paying $40, $50 an hour.
Oh, easy. Yeah. I think we pay more than
Seattle.
that. Yeah.
It's more expensive out there.
We've got a couple of them.
But that one I think is one of the best ones if you have those skills.
I agree.
I don't. Tom doesn't. We're different.
No, both the teaching and tutoring and the home repair master. Now, here's one that I've used many times on trips, and I love, and I think it's a great one, and I talked to many people that were doing this, a tour guide or experience host. So when I go to a major city, I always take a walking tour, and I always do it with somebody who lives there, who knows the area, because you just learn a lot more than having a book and wandering around on your own. And so there's people that do this professionally. There's an actress that we worked with in London, for example, a student in Berlin. These people that grew up in the area, they know the history. To me, it's a great gig for people that like that because you're outside, you're doing.
How do you advertise something like that, though? How did you find them?
I can't remember, but there were tourist type sites where they pay
Actually,
something
there
to be listed there.
We found a guide in Iceland through one of those, and we did not get it through the cruise. We actually went online and found it. I think it was Viator or something like that. I'm not sure, but I didn't prepare for this, as you can tell.
And good news is they didn't leave you out in the cold.
It was really, summer really good. In Iceland.
Yeah. Oh, pardon me. So that one I like. Here's number 10. Now, when I read this, you're going to go nuts, okay? So just be prepared to go nuts. Be a landlord.
Oh, yeah.
If you have a good understanding of the real estate market, being a landlord is a great way to generate, and I'm quoting here, steady, passive income.
Okay. Even Dave Ramsey has said that buying real estate and managing it for a paycheck is not passive income.
No.
This is as active as it gets. You are literally starting your own small business. And anyone who has ever started a small business knows there's nothing passive about it. It's longer hours than you worked at your job. So how are you retired if, at 2 a.m. your tenant calls and says, oh, the water heater went out or the furnace stopped or whatever it is? Is that passive? No. This is a dumb suggestion. It's hard work.
Now, for those of you who have built a business doing this, we have a lot of respect for you. And I know people that have done this.
It's hard work, though, and all of them will tell you that.
It is hard work, yep.
The only ones who will tell you it's not are the people who wrote the Get Rich Quick in Real Estate books or teach Get Rich Quick in Real Estate courses.
You don't see as many of those, by the way, on the podcast numbers anymore.
No, you don't. I wonder why.
That was the easy money. So then, and at the end, they talk about sort of where to find these gigs. They mention LinkedIn. They mention Upwork, Fiverr, TopTall. I don't know those. Of course, LinkedIn. I'm on LinkedIn. But I would go more specific. I would go to the specific industry of which you're interested and try to find it there. In today's world, I think it's pretty easy to search around and find those things. By the way, I thought about my top three.
Oh, you.
Three suggestions, because this one comes up a lot. There's a lot of people who want to retire at 60, and then they got to figure out health care from 60 to 65, right, until you're on Medicare. And we used to have a list of these, but major corporations, like a Starbucks, Home Depot, you work there part-time and you get health care benefits. So that's something to think about. And that we see a lot of people that face that.
Pay's not great, but the benefits are good.
No. Mm-hmm. Yep. I would also be, and we've talked about this, I think, previously, I would be thinking about a passion project. For me, it's things interesting like in aviation, soccer, money, things like that.
I'm sorry, but if you fly a plane,
education.
I'm not getting in.
I wouldn't get within 20 miles.
Aviation. What are you going to do in aviation? You're going to fix?
I could work at the Museum of Flight.
You're talking about being a tour guide.
Yeah, I'd stay right firmly on the ground, but I know about a lot about the planes.
Don't they do that though on a volunteer basis? The docents there.
Yeah,
so
I'm not.
Okay, so we're not talking about a side money
retirement.
gig. We're talking about a side.
No, that's
Tom
right.
Likes it.
Yep.
Yeah.
And here's the other one that I see that is very satisfying to people, and that is doing something that is supportive of others, especially your family. I think I told this story once about the very famous soccer coach I ran into maybe a decade ago. And I asked him what he was doing. He said, I have the most important job in the world. I get up every morning, I drive my grandkids to school, and every afternoon I drive them home. Now, that doesn't pay anything, but you're dialed in, you're helping others, and it gives you a purpose.
Sounds like Tom's Friday.
I love that.
Isn't that your Friday?
It does sound like my Friday. That is my Friday.
Pick up the grandkids, you turn on Talking Real Money, you make them listen.
That's right. Mm-hmm. That's right. They're learning. And by the way, if none of those work, then I'll take my other dream job, which is being a World Cup soccer referee. The only issue is I'm about 25 years past that, and my knee stands in the way. So, but other than that, I'm
telling you, though,
so.
Tom, listen, technology is going to bail you out. I did some checking. And these exoskeleton things, you really, actually, you ought to get one. You could be like the bionic ref.
Yeah, that's not the issue so much as the brain doesn't work quickly enough either. I see stuff and it takes me about 5 seconds to recognize what I saw. That's the other issue. So
I don't know of anything to fix that.
No, they're working on that,
really
I'm sure, but not there. Okay, so I'm
out
of luck. Anyway, there you go. So there's a few ideas. Some of that stuff is good. Some of it, I think, very specific for people, but there's some things there. There's some nuggets that you could use.
I'm just going to keep doing podcasts.
You do a lot of great podcasts, and again,
I'm going to just do my short stories. I've got more ideas. Yep. I've got so many ideas for podcasts. If I wasn't doing Talking Real Money, there are just so many podcasts I'd be doing right now.
And they'd be good.
Like it. I do. I never have to leave my room.
You're stuck there forever. From Virginia Beach, Virginia, James writes, I listen to you guys, Paul Merriman, Jesse Kramer.
Oh, yeah, Jesse. No, Jesse Kramer. Jesse's a podcaster. He's been on Stacking with me. And I was on his podcast once. Jesse's great.
Okay.
Jesse's he thinks like we do.
Okay. And the White Coat Investor? Yeah,
White
we
Coat
know
Investor.
that one.
That's the doctor's
podcast.
Great advice on White Coat.
Yeah, well, he says that they have very similar investment philosophies and as you, low-cost, broad-based index funds with domestic and international exposure, small-cap tilts. One area he differs is real estate.
We just did this.
I'm on your side with the real estate argument. Outside of REITs, unless you want it as a second-job business, it's best to avoid. However, I haven't heard you talk much on debt financing, which the white coat investor references, DPL lending fund, et cetera, et cetera.
Oh, okay. What he's doing, he's getting into some of the alternatives that a lot of companies are pushing or have been pushing over the past decade. These,
Indeed
alternative lending products, some of these illiquid real estate deals. We've always shied away from those.
I don't want to take chances with your money. My money, I could take a chance with because, then I'm responsible. But for yours, no.
They've done some studies, but I questioned them. And I questioned, by the way, I questioned this with Larry Swedroe, person to person. I mean, when we talked with him at one time, he was an advocate of these. He's becoming a little less so of these alternative investments. And as a matter of fact, just recently, I read a story about how some of these alternative lending companies that create these products that the public invests in are having trouble getting money to lend. To get investors to put money into the fund so they can lend it out to others and make the big money. Because and this was my concern. I kept saying, wait a minute. So they're paying higher than normal interest rates. In my book, that always means there's a piper to be paid someday. Potentially.
Yeah,
there's a potential
risk.
piper to be paid someday. That's very, I could use that for plosive testing. Peter Piper picked up pickled peppers.
I think right now, if you surveyed our industry, not that they can see the future any better than you can, but they've been around the block, most people would say that the issue ahead is either private credit or private equity.
Or
in
both.
Some way, right? That there's a lot out there that we don't know about. It's if something goes wrong, what's going to be the cost of all this?
That's the problem with most of these alternatives is the opacity. Mm-hmm. They're not you can't clearly discern what you're buying. Whereas with a publicly traded ETF that is invested in publicly traded stocks or bonds, it is easy to understand the underlying risks of your investment. With these private alternative products, it isn't easy. It's impossible.
No. And in fact, the Wall Street Journal has had another piece this week talking about a pension fund that went out, didn't pool their money with others, went out and did their own projects and has lost.
Well, that was a couple of weeks ago.
Tens of millions of dollars. Yeah. No, there was a brand new one a couple of days ago. So. Oh, okay. Well, I'm getting old. It's coming fast.
Okay,
so
we're going to do this again. Tom, when does this podcast air?
Oh, that was a couple weeks ago. Remember the whole thing about me taking 5 or 10 seconds to see something and then realize it? That's what I'm talking about.
I'm trying to teach him that this is delayed.
You need to have a large flashing sign or something.
This is today's date for the podcast. This is not going to air until. Would you like to know exactly what date it'll air on? We'll let
till the cows come home, or till
let's see. So we're
sun
recording
sets at 10 o'clock at night.
This is going to air on the 23rd of February.
Okay, so it's a couple weeks out. Didn't you say something about that? Let's squeeze in one more question. What do you say? From beautiful Ellensburg, Washington, the home of Central Washington University. Jordan writes us, "Hi, Don and Tom. I recently changed jobs. I've yet to consolidate my old employer's 401k or the 401k from the job before that. I'm feeling the hodgepodgeitis with 3 401k accounts. What should I consider when deciding whether to roll my old employer 401k accounts into my new employer 401k or into my existing IRA?"
Well,
great question.
I personally think the best way to consolidate is to consolidate in the IRA because it gives you greater flexibility of choices generally. It depends on what the choices are in the current 401k. That really is, that's what it boils down to. And generally speaking, that you're going to miss a lot of asset classes that we'd like to see, or they're not going to make small cap value tilted funds available to you. They're going to be very broad and general, or they're going to be active, and that's bad. So generally, rule of thumb, move it to the IRA.
Yeah. That said, now, if your income is high enough and you only can do a backdoor Roth IRA, having money in an IRA, not to get too complicated here, is a problem because then you have to use a pro rata rule. You have to move a certain amount of the IRA to the Roth and pay tax on it. It gets complicated. That's what I'm saying.
If you're planning to do a future backdoor, then that could be negative. Correct. Because the 401ks do not cause the pro rata rule to come into effect.
I will say one way or the other, all that pre-tax money should be in one place. Yeah. Should either be in the new 401k or the IRA. Don't leave things scattered about.
Well, and it's easy to lose track.
Bad.
As he says, when your brain takes a little longer to make that connection.
Remember the 10-second rule?
10-second rule.
I'm trying to keep it to 10, if that's okay. So, and speaking of that, I do want to mention that I'm coming to the desert to recharge in April. Still have a couple of
solar panels
April
now
7th.
on his head.
I'm hoping it really gets things going a little bit quicker. So
there's no sun in Seattle, so he has to go to the desert.
God's sakes, there's going to be sun again, they said. April 7th in Scottsdale, I'm taking some meetings. If you'd like me to review your portfolio, if you'd like to talk about your retirement, all you do is go to talkingrealmoney.com, click on Contact
Meet an
Us.
Advisor.
Meet an Advisor.
You could do contact, either one.
Either one. And send a note to say, I want to meet with Tom in Scottsdale, April 7th, and I'll be glad to see you. By the way, speaking of meeting
what if they're
you,
in Mesa?
They got to drive to Scottsdale. I'm not driving to Mesa, so sorry.
What if they're in Tucson?
That's a different story. I'm not driving to Tucson. Well, I might go to Tucson because that's my wife spends a part of her youth there, so we do get there from time to time. And I have a very good friend who lives there.
He might go to
Tucson. At any rate, also might go to Tucson, but doubtful. So plan on April 7th in Scottsdale. Another place to be on March 7th is at Retire Meet 2026. You're going to be there.
But the only way you can go is virtually.
We are sold out
you can go virtually.
for in-person.
And it's just like soon. It's coming up in a little over a week.
Yep. And it's all online at retiremeet.com. Very inexpensive to take in the virtual session. And by the way, all the money that we raise from that goes right to financial literacy organizations. So we're not pocketing a dime of that.
I get nothing?
You get nothing, sir.
I want a piece of the action. Dang it.
Always, 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 always. So join us for Retire Meet. You can go to retiremeet.com and see what a great group of speakers we have. It's really, really great. People love it. People love it.
All right. I think we're done now. Are you done, Tom?
That's it for me. I got to wait for the 10-second rule.
I'm going away now because really soon, in fact, in a few seconds, Tom and I are going to be talking real money.
The opinions and views expressed in this podcast were current on the date recorded. Opinions, estimates, forecasts, and statements of financial market trends that are based on current market conditions constitute our judgment and are subject to change without notice, including any forward-looking estimates or statements which are based on certain expectations and assumptions.
Although information and opinions given have been obtained from or based on sources believed to be reliable, no warranty or representation is made as to their correctness, completeness, or accuracy.
Information presented on the podcast is not personalized investment advice from Appellate Wealth. The views and strategies described may not be suitable for everyone. This podcast does not identify all the risks, direct or indirect, or other considerations which might be material to you when entering any financial transaction. Past performance does not guarantee future results, and profitable results cannot be guaranteed. We hope you realize that the information provided on Talking Real Money is for informational, educational, and hopefully enjoyable purposes only. The podcast is not trying to get you to buy or sell any financial products or securities. Instead, the program is provided as a public service by Appellate Wealth, a fee-only registered investment advisor.
Please see Appellate Wealth's ADV Part 2A on our website for information regarding Appellate's fees and services.
Appellate Capital, LLC, DBA Appellate Wealth, is an investment advisory firm registered with the Securities and Exchange Commission. The firm only transacts business in the states where it is properly registered or excluded or exempt from registration requirements. Registration with the SEC or any state securities authority does not imply a certain level of skill or training. Appellate does not provide tax or legal advice, and nothing either stated or implied here should be inferred as providing such advice. Thanks for listening, and please visit TalkingRealMoney.com for more information and important disclosure related to performance of any specific index or fund quoted in this podcast. I think I need a nap.